Welcome to Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's free. Help make this video podcast go viral by posting it to your Facebook page, your Instagram page, your X page, formerly known as Twitter, your TikTok page, and or on your LinkedIn page. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. We have upgraded our platform by moving from an audio podcast to a video podcast using StreamYard. We want to interact with our audience in real time through the chat rooms during our live podcasts. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black grassroots media component. We discuss controversial topics that you don't hear about from the mainstream media. We're committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive and new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents to my listeners from the global community. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcast and YouTube channel to help them earn extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. I offer something that no Black politician has in America, and that is a solution which will solve all of our social problems in America. I can prove it if given a chance. I am talking about Genocide of Chicago. We will offer a 21st century solution within the United States of America before we expand to Africa. Since I have little to no support for my cause, all I can do at this time is news and social commentary. I'm calling upon everyone on my Facebook friends list with 1,986 people, and everyone in my social groups, both Christian and secular, to come forth and join this new Black movement in America called the Grassroots Community Activist Movement. Work with me by getting my revised book, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, 2nd edition, on the bestsellers list. Read my story, and if you agree with my vision and plan to help improve Black America, then make arrangements with me to come on this platform and let's talk about it and encourage others to join our cause. Also, donate what you can towards our film project. 32 years, Black America / Black Chicago have rejected and overlooked my vision and plan. This is why I wrote my story, to get my message out to the public beyond Chicago. At this time, all I have is my revised book, my virtual store, this online platform, my online social groups, and now my film project. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group, which is Black Americans, before I cut and run to Africa. Without financial support from the Black grassroots and the global African family, then I am unable to do my job. This is why I'm reaching out to African immigrants in America from 10 African nations: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. We will bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our brothers and sisters on the continent. We will reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from the enslavement and colonization. So far, only one person has donated toward our film project. On our PayPal page, that is Minister Angelia Sunday. Shout out to that sister. Family, we gotta support this film project. Anyone on my Facebook friends list that's not interested in our cause, then delete me off your friends list and don't come to no events with my name on it. And that's real. Over here, we are separating ourselves from off-code Negroes, degenerates, urban terrorists, con artists, pedophiles. Cam would take the lead in solving Black issues within the United States of America before we expand to Africa, the Caribbean, and Brazil. You can find all of the links to my revised book, my virtual store, our revised GoFundMe page, and our PayPal page on my YouTube page. You can also find all of the links in the comment section below this video podcast. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for our monthly virtual conference, Facebook Live event, Saturday, May 25th. Theme, Cam challenge any Black politician, any Black preacher, male or female within the United States of America to come on this platform and put me to shame. Where? Facebook Live / StreamYard. Time, 2 p.m. through 4 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Live. This is called Side B. The title of this presentation, Black U.S. Airman executed in his home by road cop. I have some sad news to report, family. It's about a brother who was a U.S. Airman in Florida. He was ambushed in his home. One of these Karens called the police about a domestic dispute, and she sent the cop to the wrong apartment. According to the footage, this road cop was knocking on the door, and he kept ducking out of the way so that you couldn't see who he was if you look out of the peephole. So he was yelling, sheriff's office, open the door. You would assume that this could be someone pretending to be a cop. So he didn't know what was going on. The young brother grabbed his gun in one hand, but his gun was pointed downward. As soon as he opened the door, that road cop jumped out and shot him 6 times in the chest. Now the sheriff's department is trying to justify the cop's action. To watch the full footage, go to my Medium page and select the same title of this presentation in order to follow along with this topic, and scroll down to show and prove. All of a sudden, these people are now talking about he shouldn't have came to the door with a gun. These are the same Second Amendment crowd who run around here talking about hands off our guns when it's white America. But when a Black America tries to exercise their Second Amendment rights, then these alt-right people start getting real quiet. All this double standards in real time. This case is about a black U.S. airman by the name of Roger Fortson. He lost his life at the hands of a road cop because he was sent by a Karen. He went to the wrong apartment and killed his brother. Now the community demands answers. I'm a little late reporting on this story because I only do these commentaries once a week. On May 3rd, 2024, a disturbance report was made in a residential complex. Body cam footage shows an Okaloosa County Sheriff's deputy being told by a woman in a residential complex to go to apartment 1401. The woman tells the deputy that when she was walking past this apartment, she heard yelling and profanities, as well as a sound of a slap, but she was not sure where the sound came from. According to the body camera footage, the sheriff's deputy arrived at apartment 1401 and initially knocked without announcing who he was. The deputy then moved off to the side of the door where it seems he cannot be seen from the apartment's peephole. About 30 seconds later, the deputy knocks on the door again, this time announcing sheriff's office. Open the door. Around 10 seconds later, the deputy knocks on the door another time and again announces sheriff's office. Open the door. According to Fortson's mother and girlfriend, who had been on FaceTime with him, Fortson heard a knock on his door and received no response. When he asked who was at the door, his girlfriend also indicated that Fortson attempted to look through the peephole but was unable to see anyone through his peephole. And he had armed himself, believing that someone was trying to break in. According to body camera footage, Fortson opened the door, holding a gun in his right hand but pointed downward. As the door opened, the deputy tells Fortson to step back and immediately shoots Fortson. 6 gunshots were fired in his chest. Around the time Fortson is shot, he lifts his left hand in front of his chest. Fortson falls to the floor, and it is only then that the deputy tells Fortson, drop the gun. After the shooting, Fortson was brought to a hospital where he died. This is very unfortunate. Another incident similar to this case happened to a brother named Bolton John. On the night of September 6, 2018, 26-year-old accountant Bolton John was murdered in Dallas, Texas by off-duty police officer Amber Geiger, who entered Bolton John's apartment and fatally shot him. Geiger, who said she had entered Bolton John's apartment thinking that it was her own and believed Bolton John was a burglar. She was initially charged with manslaughter. The absence of a murder charge led to protests and accusations of racial bias because Bolton John was an unarmed black man killed in his own apartment by a white off-duty officer who had apparently disregarded police protocols. On November 30th, 2018, Geithner was indicted on a charge of murder. On October 1st, 2019, she was found guilty of murder and was sentenced to 10 years imprisonment the following day. Another incident happened to a young sister named Antonita Jefferson. She was a 28-year-old black woman who was fatally shot inside her home by a police officer in Fort Worth, Texas, in the early morning of October 12th, 2019. Police arrived at her home after a neighbor called for a wellness check because Jefferson's front door was left open. Police body cam footage showed officer walking around the home with a flashlight for a few minutes. Then one officer yells, "Put up your hands, show me your hands," while discharging his weapon through a window. Police found a handgun near Jefferson's body, which, according to her 8-year-old nephew, she was pointing toward the window before being shot. On October 14th, 2019, Officer Aaron Dean, the shooter, resigned from the police department and was arrested on a murder charge. On December 20th, 2019, he was indicted for murder. The officer who shot her was white. Another case involving a police shooting at someone's home was a sister by the name of Breonna Taylor. She was shot and killed while unarmed in her Louisville, Kentucky apartment by 3 police officers who entered under the assumption of a no-knock search warrant. After Louisville Metro Police Department ex-detective Barrett Kingson was acquitted of felony wanton endangerment of Taylor's neighbors at the state levels. Attorney General Merrick Garland announced the Department of Justice was charging Hickson with the unconstitutional use of excessive force that violated Taylor's civil rights. 3 other officers who were not present at the shooting were also fatally charged with conspiracy and falsifying evidence to procure a search warrant and then covering it up. She's originally from Grand Rapids, Michigan. Taylor worked as an on-call emergency room technician and first responder in the local area at that time of her death. Her controversial death followed the murder of Ahmaud Arbery on February 23rd, 2020, and preceded the murder of George Floyd, May 25th, 2020. All 3 deaths spurred an outpouring of protests and became a rallying cry for the Black Lives Matter movement in the summer of 2020. Supporters adopted the motto #SayHerName in Taylor's memory, bringing attention to Black women who are killed by police officers. Yet another incident happened to a young brother named Amir Locke, who was a 22-year-old African-American male who was fatally shot on February 2nd, 2022 by SWAT officers. Mark Hanneman of the Minneapolis Police Department inside an apartment in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where police were executing a no-knock search warrant in a homicide investigation. The officer involved shooting was reviewed by the Office of Minnesota Attorney General Keith Elson, the Office of Hennepin County Attorney Michael Freeman, and the Minnesota Bureau of Criminal Apprehension. Elson and Freeman declined to file criminal charges against the officer who shot Locke in a report released on April 6, 2022. The reason why I am sharing these stories with you all is because I want you all to be aware of what's happening here in America. Those of you who live outside of the United States of America. The average Black American is more focused on the battle between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. You need to be aware about the people you are around and be aware about the environment you are in. We're reminded of Fernando Castro and Breonna Taylor. We're reminded about the state of Florida, where Ron DeSantis and his collaborators have made it known that white supremacy is still alive and well in America. Meanwhile, these politicians are pushing legislation to prevent you from saying anything that is offensive to Jewish people. But notice they're not trying to push an anti-Black hate crime bill like they did for Asian Americans. Where are all of these Second Amendment organizations like the NRA? Where's Black Twitter? Everybody is quiet, no statement on their social media. Where are all these people who are pro-gun? Every time something like this happens to a Black person who is legally exercising their Second Amendment right, then usually the person ends up dead. I've been preaching to Black America for the past 32 years, telling Black people that if we don't confront this Willie Lynch mentality head on within Black society, then that will be our downfall. All of this off-code behavior among Black people is making it harder for us to live here in America. It's a catch-22, meaning not answering the door can be taken as being non-compliant, and that alone can create a situation for you and your family. In the case of Roger Forson, this road cop wanted him to open the door so that he could ambush him because he was a soft target. If law enforcement have probable cause, then they really don't need a warrant. The only reason for asking about a warrant is to establish what type of interaction will take place. None of these other groups have to go through what the average Black American have to endure. We're taught to hold our hands 9-3 on your steering wheel when being pulled over by law enforcement. Before you open the door, you gotta stay 3 steps ahead of them. First, ask what do they want. Secondly, tell them you need to see them before you open your door through the peephole, if you have one. Law enforcement have to justify why they came to your place when they go to court. I am your anchor man for the new Black voices of media. So when somebody says something stupid online, like what the laws aren't, and spread misinformation, you got me here to put a halt to this in its tracks. I'm not giving you my opinion. You can Google the information because we live in the information age. This is what they say about it on their Sheriff's Department website in Florida. I want to see all of my brothers and sisters being safe and sound. You have to have one voice and demand the same kind of protection that other Americans have under the law. This is what we do over here. We can't continue to allow road cops to run up in our loved ones' house or apartment and kill them in cold blood. We have to stop avoiding these type of issues and conversations. America has a bunch of white supremacists working in law enforcement. Real talk, I think that police officers should be fired and go to prison. I also think that Karen needs to be punished, and she needs to serve prison time too for causing the death of that young man. This is the same scenario that happened to Emmett Till. Like I said, this many times before, as long as Black Americans remain in America, we will be treated as third and fourth class citizens. That's why I've been trying to get Black Americans on board, as well as African immigrants, to work with me in building Ghettos, Chicago, to give Black parents options about raising their children outside of America and having dual citizenship, either in a African nation or in a Caribbean nation, because the pressure to live in this country is getting out of hand. Through my Christian business, we would exchange our skills to help improve those nations in exchange for citizenship. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you all for listening, and we'll see you on the next video podcast. Please join GRCAM by joining either my Christian groups, Light of the World Inspirational Group, or Christian Spoken Word Network, or join my secular groups, GRCAI of Africa, GRCAI of Chicago, or New Black Voices of Media, etc. Also exchange emails with me so that I can share all the information with you about what I do online, and that's also how we can, stay connected. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. I would like to thank everyone who have contributed or will contribute to support us on our PayPal page, purchasing items from our virtual store, or purchasing my revised book. The ebook is $9.99, or the paperback is available for $15 plus shipping and handling. We appreciate your support. You can find all of the links below this video podcast in the comment section. If you're listening to this audio podcast on Spotify, just click on the YouTube icon and look to the far right next to my photo, and you will see more links. Click on it and you will see the About section, then scroll down to the links. This will conclude our video podcast for today. Thank you all for listening. Stay safe, peace, and blessings.